Hello, everybody. My name is Nkosi, and this is the Two Sides of a Coin podcast. Joining me also on the podcast is my co host, John. You want to say hi, John?
Hey, everybody.
All right. So, it is early in January. So, we're going to talk about some of the things that we are going to anticipate coming up in this year in regards to TV shows. Also, John is going to give us his food review. So, John, take it away.
Well, hello once again, everyone, and God bless Harlem. God bless Harlem. Now, when it comes to the Harlem area and its restaurants, I've always been in Harlem. When it comes to food, I always know where in Harlem I can go get some good food at. Like if you ask me where I can go get a best breakfast sandwich, I can tell you where to get a good breakfast sandwich in Harlem. If you ask me where's a good burger spot, I can tell you about 5 spots in Harlem that you can get a good burger. And I'm telling you, God bless it. Not only is it getting a lot of press because of um, restaurants like Red Rooster and Harlem Shake and a lot of other popular restaurants. And one I mentioned on the podcast, Noodle, Harlem Noodle. And I tell you, good restaurants. But one of the restaurants that I checked out today, I want y'all to know about a new soulful chicken spot that's got my neighbors constantly inviting me to Sunday dinners. Now, anytime I'm invited somewhere, I bring fried chicken. I really do. Anytime. I mean, I'll ask, of course, but I bring it. Now, if you follow my page, you're already aware of my travels to California and my love for fried chicken and waffles. Yet today, I want to give a shout out to Charles Pan Fried Chicken. It's amazing and reasonably priced. Now, if you grew up on wholesome home cooked food, then you can agree with Charles when he says fried chicken just like mama used to make it. I pray this place stays open till the end of time. I was filled with hope that grade A cuisine has once again returned to Harlem. I mean, the menu is all full of side dishes out of the movie Soul Food, pretty much. My favorite is that the cornbread. I mean, it was made just like when me and my pop used to make cornbread. I mean, really good, really good. I mean, I could go into detail, but I mean, this cornbread literally was well made, like, the nice big chunk amount. Everybody be like, you got to have a big piece of cornbread on your plate. I mean, this was well perfect, fresh, and every bite, I just couldn't help but go, mm. Now, they have a great brunch special also, and it's from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Everything on the brunch menu is $10. You get fried chicken of your choice. You can either get it smothered or barbecued, and you get it with two sides. If you do it like me, I went and got the yams. I got the candy yams and the macaroni and cheese, which wasn't bad, but it, I mean, wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as when I got the candy yams with the collard greens. Nah, that was just off the chain. This restaurant has two locations. One is on 340 West 145th Street in New York, of course, not right in Harlem. And I tell you, when you walk in, they greet you, as you wait online, from when you enter the door to when you wait online to the part of the restaurant where you make your order. They're always customer service is on point and very, 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 makes you it made me feel like I was home, you know, really made me feel like I was home. But see, the thing is that makes me really, really like this restaurant. And on one side, I feel like they should maybe franchise more. But then a part of me is like, I mean, it's so good. I mean, they really wouldn't need a franchise unless it was really, really necessary. And I'm telling you, the second location over on 146 West 72nd Street, where they have like small seating, yo, I'm telling you right now, if you go down to that location, make sure whatever you get a second helping of it because you're gonna want something to take home. I can't, I'm not making this up, people. You're really gonna want to take something home. You know, I mean, I really like this restaurant. The second location, has that like, wholesome decorum. Like you rented out a small banquet hall for like a church function or a Sunday dinner. Really nice. Really really well put together. And the staff at that location are just as the same as the staff over at the 145th Street um, location. Very friendly, very professional, and the food just it kind of puts you on like a food high a little bit. But yeah, definitely everyone. I am not going to stress it or linger any further on the subject. Definitely check out Charles Pan Fried Chicken and feel free, hit me up. Let me know what you think. What's your favorite combination? And
Oh,
on that note, I'm closing this review.
all right. So, as I said before, we're going to talk about some of the, at least for us, the most anticipated shows that we want to see. So, I think I'm going to start this list off this week, John, if I may.
Oh, the floor is yours.
All right. And the first show that I'm going to talk about, it's coming out very soon, in fact. This podcast is going to come out on the, 24th, 25th. And this show is going to come out literally the next day after it. And that's the show called Poker Face. Now, this is a brand
Mm.
new show. It's a limited series. It's a 10-part mystery series that it's being billed under. And mainly, the thing that brings me into this show is I like mystery shows. Those are always really fun. But the main thing that's going to really make me want to see this show is, of course, Natasha Leggero. Now, if you don't know who Natasha Leggero is, Natasha Lyonne. Natasha Lyonne is an amazing actress. She was in one of my favorite Netflix series of the past decade in the series Russian Doll. Now, her delivery is amazing. She can literally do almost no wrong in my mind. And, we're talking about this cast is also going to be stacked to the gills because it's a limited series. The thing I like about them is you're probably going to get these self contained stories. So think about it kind of like when we were watching Andor and we all loved it. And the part that everybody loved was the fact that it had essentially limited series all along the season. So 3 episodes would be an entire series, and then you go episode 4 to 6, and that would be its own series, and then you go to episode 7 to 9, and that would be its own series. And I think that's what we're going to get here, because I mean, you're seeing a lot of guest stars in this series. I'm truly intrigued, especially since it's written by the people who also wrote Knives Out. I love that.
Hmm.
And
That was good.
yeah, Knives Out was really good. So I am very much interested in where this is going to go, simply because I trust her as an actress and I trust the writers. And the premise that the only thing she has is she can tell when someone is lying to her leads to so many interesting avenues and breakaways. So I can't wait for this. I'm going to be waiting to see how this first episode goes, and I hope it doesn't disappoint me. But I would say that is my first show that I'm truly intrigued by. So, John, what's the show that you are intrigued by?
So the show, I'm gonna start off my list my from number three, and I'm counting down. So the first show that I'm intrigued by and I'm looking forward to see is Bridgerton season three, which is going to be airing later on this year. And I'm really looking forward to watching this third season of Bridgerton because for everybody, hopefully everyone listening to this podcast has watched Bridgerton. Definitely looking forward to this third season because I have so many questions. I mean, are we gonna finally catch who Lady Whistledown is? I mean, we all already know at least, but is Queen Charlotte finally gonna is she gonna be the one that cracks the mystery, or will it be um one of our other protagonists who is looking forward to finding who Lady Whistledown is? But yes, I gotta tell you, I'm definitely looking forward because I want to see if any characters from any of the first season make their return. Of course, I'm talking about the Duke, which, from my wife's point of view, she was telling me um, he may or may not sh- show up, but I mean, I'm hoping does make an appearance. You know, find out how his nuptials are going from his point of view. Yeah. So, with that being said, I am going to pass the torch back over to you, Kennedy.
All right. So I'm just going to go right into the second show that I'm going to talk about as my most anticipated. It is
Hmm.
an show that's going to be on Apple TV. Now, full disclosure, I'm not in love with Apple TV. It has some nice shows on it. The issue I have with Apple TV is the issue I think people have with a lot of streaming apps, which is there are a lot of streaming apps out there and people need to save their money. So if you're going to have a lot of streaming apps, you need at least one show from that streaming app where you are like, I will pay money when this comes on to see it, and nothing's going to stop me from paying money, right? So with
Hmm.
Apple, that show is Ted Lasso. It's Ted Lasso with a bullet. You cannot tell me that people do not want to see this show because Ted Lasso is amazing. And
Hmm.
we're all waiting for season 3, of course, if you don't know Ted Lasso, I don't know where you have been under. Maybe you just don't like TV, or maybe you just can't afford Apple TV, in which case I understand. If you can,
Hmm.
or if you have a friend who can, I highly recommend you watch Ted Lasso. It is a show where Jason Sudeikis plays the title card character, Ted Lasso. He is an American football coach going over and becoming the manager of a London football team. And the thing that really elevates Ted Lasso is I think Ted Lasso does a perfect job of blending both British comedy and American comedy. I think that's its ultimate selling point because Ted is this incredibly nice, upbeat person who you just can't help but love. You know, if Ted doesn't like you, you must have done something bad. So he's just so nice, so upbeat, so sunny, where even some of his harshest critics come around and they say, "Oh, it's Ted. He's probably going to fail, but I don't want him to because I love him so much." And the rest of the cast is great. You know, you have Brett Goldstein. He's playing Roy Kent. You have Brendan Hunt, who plays Coach Beard. You know, Nick Mohammed, who in my mind is the second best actor on that show by playing Nathan Shelley. Hannah
Hmm.
Waddingham, of course, who plays Rebecca. She's from Game of Thrones as well as many other shows. She's great. Really, this is just a top down uh, cast of amazing people. And there is one person on here that I want to bring up that is a little story, and that is Juno Temple, who plays Keeley. I
Hmm.
did not, until I looked at the cast, I did not realize that was Juno Temple. Completely forgot what Juno Temple looked like, and I was like, "Oh, that's Juno Temple," and I was like, "Okay, Juno Temple, still bringing solid acting, you know." And
Hmm.
really, the thing I love about this show is not only is it with the blending of both American styles of comedy, which is much more, what's the word? It's much more aspirational, whereas
Yeah.
I would say British style comedy is much more like dour. It's not dour. That's the wrong word. I
Right.
think the big difference between the big examples when we think of British comedy and American comedy is with British comedy, you can stay in that awkward, terrible moment. And you find the comedy in being there. And I think in American comedy, it's a lot more upbeat. It's a lot more, these are funny situations that are happening, but they're not necessarily happening to me. And in British comedy, it's these are terrible situations and they're happening to you specifically. You know, it's a much more nuanced conversation, and I'm probably not explaining myself incredibly well. But if you see Ted Lasso, you could just see the difference in terms of who he is versus the culture and how both, you know, really fit into each other. But I would say the biggest reason why I'm looking forward to this is because at the end of season two, spoiler alerts for the end of Ted Lasso season two, if you have not seen it, please go see it. Nathan, who you loved in the first season, has now done a complete heel turn in the second season. He is the guy that you do not like. And now he's gone off and he is going to be a new manager for a different team that Rebecca's ex husband now is an owner of. And the thing I love about this is this show really does give a great blueprint on what toxic masculinity, like another form of it, can look like. And how not only
Hmm.
could it be destructive to the people around you, how it could be destructive to the person who is being toxic and who's being toxic. So I love that. And I have a theory for season 3. I'm not going to get into it. Maybe we'll get into it a little bit later. But I have a theory
Hmm.
that, because I think everybody in season 3 wants to see the fall of Nathan. And if Nathan fell and fell hard, I wouldn't be angry at that.
Hmm.
I don't think Nathan's going to fall, at least not in the professional sense. I think he's going to be successful, but he's going to fall worse in terms of a personal sense because all his validation comes from outside
Hmm.
instead of coming from within. Because we all know people who value outside validation more than they value internal validation. You know, we all know people who they need to hear other people say that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. They won't believe themselves if they say to themselves in the mirror, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that's the beauty of Nathan's character, which is why I love it.
Hmm.
I would do a dissertation on Ted Lasso if I could, but that's not the episode we're giving you. So
No.
I will leave it at that. I, I don't have a I don't have a premiere date for Ted Lasso. I know it's coming out this year, but trust me, when it comes out, we are going to see probably the most aspirational and also potentially redeeming of a guy who is just not happy with themselves. And I think that's going to be a really interesting journey to be on, especially on Apple TV. So go ahead, John.
So, for my second show, number 2 is Squid Game Season 2. Now, I'm really, really looking to sink my teeth in, but into this show, into this season. Being that this is going to be a season 2 for Squid Games, I'm looking forward to sinking my teeth. But I'm not going to binge watch it. Nope, 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 no, not going to do that. I will not binge watch it. I will take my time. And when I say take my time, I'm going to take my time because I want to win this season of Squid Games. Okay, I mean, this is one of this Squid Games has to be at least maybe a no, it actually is like one of the top K dramas that's been watched in my household. I mean, literally, we from the first one, we just couldn't stop watching it. I mean, it got to a point where I, I stopped on wherever we stopped. Either me and my wife stopped at the episode, or I watched ahead. Then she'll watch that episode. But I mean, literally, I've decided that this season I will not binge watch. I will take my time because that show had the first season just wowed me, literally wowed me, and I can't wait till Squid Game season 2 airs on Netflix because I'm just gonna be like, huh, Squid Game season 2 is on now. Okay. Yeah, No Temptation wants me to watch it now, but I decide to be good, not bad. And I'll wait for my wife and me to get together and watch it together. Because I'm telling you, and you probably already know, listeners, Squid Games season 1 was good. I mean, just imagine Squid Game season 2 is probably gonna like just literally break the mold on how some of these K dramas are coming out. It might break the mold. Who knows? I mean, we have so many good K dramas out these days. I'm not going to go too much into detail because that could be another episode. Who knows? So, definitely. Big ups to all my Squid Games fans, who are also probably sitting at home, like saying to themselves, "Yes, I cannot wait till season two." Sadly, I have eh, um, no info on the exact release date. From what I'm aware of, it's supposed to be airing later on this year or the beginning of 2024. Hopefully, we get it this year because I mean, this is trailers and fan made trailers. From fan made trailers to all these trailers that have been coming out the woodwork. Everybody's like, when is this gonna come out? So on that note, I'm gonna pass the torch for the final time to you, my guy.
Okay, thank you for that. I think the last show that I'm going to talk about is one that is pretty close to my nerd heart, obviously. Uh,
Hmm.
and I'm not going to beat around the bush. This show, of course, is Secret Invasion, the next Marvel TV show. I love Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. I love him as Nick Fury. And the reason why I love him as Nick Fury is for those who don't know, especially in the Marvel Universe, Nick Fury was a white character. He was a white guy with a cigar who looked a lot like David Hasselhoff. In fact, there is a
Hmm.
David Hasselhoff, at least TV show, like made for TV show where David Hasselhoff is Nick Fury. That is how the character was originally put in the comics. And when they cast Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, he has been so iconic in that role that now it's canon that Nick Fury looks like Sam Jackson. That is how much of an
Hmm.
impact he has. He has such a big impact on the character that the character in the comics now looks like him. He didn't need to look like the character. The character had to look like him because that's how Sam Jackson rolls. Because we all know Sam Jackson is a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
A little, too slow. Too slow. I beat
Darn
you
it.
there. I beat you. It's fine. I beat you. I got you. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm just joking. So I love Sam Jackson. That's number one. Number two, I love the Secret Invasion storyline. And if you've seen the trailers, you have kind of an idea of how it's going to go, which are the scrolls. Which before in the MCU, the scrolls are one thing. In the comics, the scrolls are essentially super spies who infiltrate any and everything they can and try and take over governments that way. That's not the version we see in the MCU, though. So I'm interested to see how they're going to spin this. Number one, I'm also super interested to see a spy drama done in 6 to 10 parts. I think it's only 6 episodes, but a spy drama done in 6 parts because 6 episodes means there's not a lot of filler in these episodes. Every episode has to hit. Like when you have a 20 episode season, you could have episodes that don't directly inform on the plot. When you have a season that's only 6 episodes, every episode has to be important. If it isn't important, then you're wasting the entire series as a whole. So that's the second thing I love about the Secret Invasion storyline. Who do you trust? Who's working for the enemy? Who's been replaced? kind of that invasion of the body snatchers mentality, but also in terms of a spy thriller, because we're getting a lot more of the B to C level MCU characters. You know, Maria Hill. We're gonna get, you know, Don Cheadle in there. We're gonna get Martin Freeman. We're gonna get Talos back, Ben Mendelsohn. Amelia Clark is also gonna show up, so I hope she does well. And you're getting all these really good actors. Full stop. Good actors. You're getting them in this show, and they're just going to be able to play off each other, and I'm really interested to see how that goes. The third thing that I find funny is that this is the only MCU movie where you literally have both Coretta Scott King and Malcolm X are going to be in this TV show. And the only reason I say that is because Carmen Eagle, she played Coretta Scott King, while Kingsley Benadier played Malcolm X. So I love that as a fan of, you know, black history and black cinema. I That just tickles me, you know, where it's like, hey, what's
Hmm.
the fastest way to get the from doing independent movies to the MCU? That's right, civil rights movies. I just
Hmm.
I just think that's really an interesting wrinkle that I love. So that is my number one TV show that I want to see in 2023. And John, I'll pass it off so that way you could say yours.
All right. Now, with my final last shows, before I mention my final last shows, um, if it's okay, I there was a couple of shows that didn't make my list. Well, it was actually three, and number three was out of the three was Night Court, which is a pretty much a reboot slash spinoff of the old show Night Court, but what it's the story of this version is taking place with the daughter of the judge. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Also, another show is Free Ridge, which will be airing on Netflix. I don't have an expected time, but it is pretty much a spin-off to the show On My Block. And the last show, which I'm glad to get into, which I'm already watching, I'm three episodes in, but I'm doing it respectfully. I'm doing it respectfully. I'm sticking to my no binging, and like I said, I'm on the third episode. Could be on four, but I'm on the third because I tune in every day. And that is That 90s Show. Now, That 90s Show is a spin-off of the original show, That 70s Show. And I gotta say, I'm loving this. I'm liking this. Like from beginning, from the first episode all the way to where I'm at now, it is just nothing but laughs. Nothing but laughs. I mean, kind of hit you with a nostalgia berry here and there, but from the first episode, you don't even sense it. You know, it really pulls you in. Like if you're trying to get away from that 70s show, that 90s show is going to pull you back in. But let me get to my number one top anticipated show that I'm expecting to be the craze this year in 2023, and that's Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. Now, if you follow Bridgerton, you know um of Queen Charlotte from the first episode. And this basically is going to talk about well, like I said, from what I've heard or what I'm assuming, it's going to talk about her relationship with the king and and her personality and how she acted compared from when she was younger compared to how she is now as a queen. And also it talks more, Queen Charlotte is going to definitely be touching more on her relationship with her husband. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that because I have my questions. I've always had my questions with about Queen Charlotte. I mean, you don't see the king much. Like, and when you do see the king, like this woman's got to be known, like made aware of his whereabouts before he becomes like literally seen by anybody. I mean, dang. I mean, I heard of wives keeping a big eye on their husbands, but dang, she takes it to the max, yeah. Like literally takes it to the max. I ain't knocking Queen Charlotte, but I want to know what's all these million eyes got to be on your husband for. I mean, I hope we can clear up this mystery in this series. The one reason why I really liked it, I'm looking forward to, because of the character that plays Queen Charlotte is from one of my favorite TV shows, Sex Education, which is also on Netflix. She plays the character Lizzie, which I gotta say is hilarious. I mean, if you've seen Sex Education, you already know a character. If you haven't, watch it. Seriously, watch it. And another show, she's been in plenty of other shows like um Doctor Who. Yeah, she was in Doctor Who. She played Allison, and she was yeah. Sorry. Oh, and I almost forgot. Wow, I'm surprised I almost forgot this. She also played as Sophie Huntley in the show Line of Duty. Now, I gotta say, I know y'all are like, okay, he only picked Queen Charlotte as his number one because he made Bridgerton season three his number three. No, my reason for Queen Charlotte is seriously, seriously more. The reason why made this my number one because of the literal cast that's going to be in this season. And yes, most of it's from the show Bridgerton. Most of the cast that's in Queen Charlotte, Bridgerton story, most of the cast is from the show. But I'm expected. The reason why I expected so much, and I anticipate this show being a top because this show will most likely, I'm hoping, touch on elder characters from the Bridgerton show. And I'm really looking forward to finding that out, finding everyone's tale. And that's all I have to say on that matter. The king of good food, well, hopefully one day, has spoken.
All right. Well, I think we've given everybody some really good picks, some really good choices. So
Hmm.
I think we can sign off. So, John, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, it ain't really hard to find me. You just have to listen. If you hear the smacking of lips, the sound of satisfaction, like you hear a person say, mm, then you'll know I'm right behind you, eating something good. But instead of probably stalking me, which I don't want you to do, you can check out my Instagram page, Fat Man Loves Anime NYC21. Definitely check me out. Feel free to message me if you have a restaurant in mind you want to check out together. We'll go check it out. Or if you have a comment about one of my posts, feel free to hit me up. Or if you're looking for a interesting, place to take you and your lady. Oh, definitely. I'm a helpless romantic. Hit me up. I know places. Okay? Hit me up. Definitely. And hmm. I think we have another mystery to crack. Can we find you, man?
Well, I know that people can find me wherever the podcast is. So if you want to comment, give us ideas or critiques or anything like that, you can email us at twosidespodcast@gmail.com. That's TWOSIDEZ podcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at the username Two Sides Coin. You can find us on Instagram at Two Sides of a Coin. You can find us on Podbean, and you can also find us on Spotify. So, everybody, I hope you have a great time. I hope that you have a good rest of the week. And if you've seen any of these shows after this and you really want to give us your opinion on them, please feel free to let us know. All right? Have a good one.